We'll do it in 5 minutes. Okay. Unfortunately, we had a problem with our internet today, but I'm talking about George Whitefield and Benjamin Franklin, and I'm doing this because this week we've been looking at how the government was established in our country, and basically the beginnings of America are not 1619. The beginning is right in the 1700s with the colonies being English. They're still English. America doesn't start until 1775, and they declare independence from England. And how did they get there? Well, how they got there was with the most popular person in all of the country outside of government was a man by the name of George Whitefield. And he was a preacher, preaching thousands of times to everyone. It's notable that every colonist would have known George Whitefield. Every one of the colonists. It would have been like one of our greatest movie stars or one of the great athletes or one of the great commentators that everybody would know who that was. And George Whitefield was one of them. And I've just been, we have the information, you can get it here at the church. On George Whitefield and all the message, 8,000 people, hundreds and hundreds of times, thousands of times preaching every day. And this is called the Great Awakening of America, or the Great Awakening of the colonies. And so when we look at it now today, we see that there's a lot of people that have disagreements in the ways they go as far as how the government was, the history of it, the whole thing. But the bottom line is here is this is the man, George Whitefield, there, which began what's called the Great Awakening. And the Great Awakening was the idea of Protestant work ethic that would bring the people to a place of great blessing, and brought it to us. A lot of us, we're just the recipients of the great blessing of the people that have gone before us. And if you don't see that, then you're probably a little bit blind in the eyes of reality. America has been great, and it wasn't because you did it, especially if you're just getting out of college. And I'm not the one that did it either, and I'm 69 years old. But there has been a lot of work that's been done prior to us coming and being blessed, even in the church that I'm standing in. Somebody else built this church. We didn't. I didn't have a hammer, but they did. And they wanted to see it for perpetuity. And so what we have is we have a lot of disagreement. But the real truth of the matter is this was based on a Protestant work ethic, which had to do with the idea of capitalism, that you are the capital. And what you build will be the thing that's yours. You'll have property, you'll own it, and it will give you the incentive to do that. And it still happens, though, that even at that time, you had great disagreement with the leaders, or even getting down into the nitty-gritty little things that separated them. But they were in agreement on one thing. The Bible was their textbook. And God was their God, the God of the Bible. And in all of these words that they put in the Declaration or in the preamble to the Constitution, the capitalization of words like providence, that's referring to God. And that because that's a name, that's a proper name, that with the capitalization. In order, it says in order, O is capitalized. Order is just somebody orders you something. But it puts it into a chronological or a way of ordering life. But no, this is capital order. He's the orderer, and he's God. And so God was the key principle, and the Bible was the key book of the founding of the country. That's what we're talking about. But even George Whitefield and Benjamin Franklin had disagreement. And they had disagreement over a very issue of the Bible. And the issue was, by grace you're saved, is George Whitefield. And Benjamin Franklin said, no, you have to have works. Well, the truth of the matter is, both of them. And they both come together somewhere. There's got to be some work that you have demonstrated with your life, a repentance work. like the man on the cross, or some kind of repentance you made. On the other hand, George Whitefield would say, by virtue of the fact that God has given you the grace, you have now accepted the teachings of God, the grace of God comes upon you, and that's why you're saved. Okay, so now there's a disagreement. How much more of this, this is more important than that's more important. We have all kinds of denominations. That's why the founders of the country, they did not want to have a specific denomination to be the religion of the country like Catholicism was in England. It was Christianity. Christianity is not a religion. It's a group of religions as far as denominations are concerned. They didn't want to have a Baptist United States of America, or a Methodist United States of America, or a Presbyterian. You understand what I'm saying? I hope. But we agree on one thing. It's the Bible, and it's the God of the Bible, that's where the foundation took place, in 1700s, not 1619. It was still England then. Get it? I hope you get it. I don't know if I could say it any more succinctly, but the founders of the country were the followers of George Whitefield. And George Whitefield kind of tried to stay with the holy guys, with Wesley and Edwards, and he was, we just read about this. But the idea I'm trying to bring to you today is this. Our government was established by the Protestants that were left England and left the Catholic Church, but allowed the Catholic Church also to be in America. Whatever church, as long as it was declared the church of the Bible, and Jesus Christ was God. Now, we've even allowed everybody to come in, but as far as the government and the way it was facilitated, it was this way. So that's just a short brief. We've been talking for about a half hour, so I'm going to let the people go, and we'll come in again next week and continue on our America's freedom history. God bless you today.